So yes, like I said, I was saying earlier, dynamic allows you to to just give any value to anything, right? You can see dynamic first name equals to Adiola, right? I can have int, I can have dynamic like this, age equal to 45. Whatever the variable is, it will take it and it will not prompt any error, right? But the only difference between dynamic and what we are doing is that dynamic, right, you can't access all those things I talked about. Can you sit down? It's very few. You can't access them. It means that dynamic is not the way to go for you, number one. And number two is that except for because that automatically assign dynamic to some things, right, behind the scene. Except that is doing that for you, you should not do that to your program. Please declare it with this the certain data type that it should have, right? Don't use dynamic, because dynamic has a lot of it can ruin your code. Let me just put it that way. Except, in fact, no matter how much you want to, no matter how careful you are, it will definitely have effect on you. So just use the actual name of the variable. You might be tempted to say, okay, if I use dynamic, I don't have to start saying that if it is a string, it has to have a string. If it is a variable, if I pass this thing, if I pass a number to this, it will accept it nonetheless. Now, why isn't it accepting it? Because it's dynamic. Dynamic will blend to anything. So you might be tempted to say, okay, since dynamic is blending to anything, I just want to go with dynamic. No, for a production application, dynamic can destroy your software. So declare it with the actual variable that's supposed to have. If it's supposed to have a string, use string. If it's supposed to have int, use int. Double, we have not talked about double, right? Double is decimal point, right? And of course, it's still like similar to everything we have been talking about since. So double is decimal point, so I can just have something like double like this, double this is CGPA for those of you that are in university, equal to 56.6, like 0.7. Let me put it that way. Of course, GP cannot be like this. Let me say 4.7. You can see double, it accepts it. What if I use an int like this? Will it still accept? Yes, it will still accept. You can see double accepts an integer. But let's see what we will get when we actually print this out. Let's see what we get when we actually print this out. I want to print the CGPA. Print CGPA like this. So let's see. Let's see what we are going to get in a double when we print it out. So I can get to explain this better. Let's see. Let's see. As network. So before it comes out, let's just continue some other things. So yes, please, by all means, avoid dynamic. And put it here. By all means, avoid dynamic. So give the actual variable name that it's supposed to get. All right, just give to it. Don't use dynamic. It's always better that way. Let me run this. I think this is taking too long. Let's see what's going on. All right. So the last thing we'll be taking in this class, right? We've taken everything there is to take. The last thing we'll be taking is I'll be talking about variable again, right? I want to explain to you that variable actually varies, right? Variable actually what? Varies. And what we mean by that is that I can store something in a variable name and I can choose to change it, right? And how do we do that? I don't want to cover this code because I'm running something and I don't know why it's taking too much time. Let me check my network. And of course, we have to be connected to the internet to do all of this, right? When you're using that part, right, you have to be connected to the internet. But if you're using Flutter, the SDK and everything I've talked about in the last class, you don't really have to be connected to the internet. But when we are running Flutter, we have to be connected to the internet. Now we have gotten our answer. You can see CGPA we got 4, and this one, of course, you can see the dynamic still printed out. It is not rejecting it. Means that dynamic can actually get to blend with whatever variable that you store to it, or whatever value that you pass to it. I hope that's clear. All right, so talking about this double, yes, double can take int, because double is also a number, same as an integer. So when you pass a double to when you pass an integer to a double data type, it takes it. But let's see whether if you pass an integer to, let me say, age to a double, let's see if it gets it. Let's see. Can you see now? Double cannot be passed to integer, but integer can be passed to double. Can you see now? I hope that makes sense. You can't pass a double decimal pointed number to an integer, but you can pass an integer to a double. Why? Because 4 is the same thing as 4.0, right? So writing 4 as a number is the same thing as writing 4.0 as a double. So integer and double, they actually mean the same thing in the sense of moving from integer to double. But moving from double to integer, I don't know if this number is, I want to round it off to 6, or write it down to 6, or I want to write it up to 7, right? So it can have different values. So that's why double can be passed to integers. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, if you have any question based on what we're doing, please make sure you drop it in the group, and I'll be there to attend to your question. So I'll be clearing this off now. I'll be talking about the last thing. And the last thing we'll be talking about is we can actually replace variable. Let's see this quickly in a minute. I have string and I have first name. Can you see the way I declare my variable now? First small letter, name capital letter. Please make sure your variable is declared like this. So first name, let me pass in my real name, Ademola. All right, then let me print the first name. I want to show you guys something. Now I want to update this value. My name is not Ademola anymore. I want my name to now be Adeola. Now if you want to update a variable name, you don't need to pass a data type anymore. Just say first name, the same, equal to Adeola. Then let me put it again. Let me print the same thing I printed in the first. Let me just copy this and then print. So just so we'll be sure that you're on the right path. So let me print this. You'll see. Okay, now we need to have this. So as you see now, the first one will be Ademola. Then that Ademola is updated with Adeola. So that means a variable name can actually be what? Updated. But now listen, you can see now. You can see Ademola is being replaced by Adeola with the same variable name. But you can't replace variable names like this. Check this out. I have let's say I have int age equal to 45. Then I want now to have again int age equal to 56. I can't do this, right? If you want to replace a variable name or a variable with another value, you don't declare the data type again. I hope that makes sense. You can see here I said string first name, then I just went ahead and I said first name. I didn't say string here again. If I said string here again, is what will happen now. You have an error. Can you see now? There's an error in that first name now, which is this. So please let's note that we can't do that. So now another thing is that let's check this out. I have string username, of course, like this, like I said earlier, username equal to Flutter. Then I have username. I want to update. Then I don't want to update with Flutter. I want to update with 56. Can I do that? Let's see. I can't. Whenever you update a variable name, it has to be with the same data type. Please don't update. You can't update your variable name with different data type. If I use a string in the first one, when you want to update, you have to update with a string as well. I hope that's clear. Another thing is that this username here that you see here, can you see it now, is not the same. Let me use int here as this username, right? String Flutter is case sensitive. The big capital letter N and the small letter n username are not the same. So I can actually choose to say username. Let me check the time.